came out of the clearing down in that nice shady, calm place where the wind didn't go, to another smaller island this time. It was at one time my bog garden, but as my ideas for the garden changed, so did the bog garden, and it's had lots of manure and goodness knows what putting in it, and things grow very well in there. And this pathway leads on to the bottom garden, but I can also turn around to the right to go round the old bog garden, as we call it. There's our latest tree fern addition, quite a magnificent specimen. He had a name before he arrived even. He was called Bruce, so he continues to be a well settled in Bruce, and looks rather at home there, I think. I'm very pleased he came to live with us. Now I'm going to look back onto the old bog garden island there, around this side of it. There was a great big echium there this year, which was quite stunning, and it remains there as a talking point while we wait for the seed to drop. Now I'm looking back down the garden where we've already been. Some more echiums coming up there that hopefully, if they survive the winter, will be quite stunning. I think that's Helen Dillon, the hedychium there, that's just started flowering. And as I walk round this area, you can see, again, you can go down to the right, but you will come to a block end, or you can head over there to a place we call the Cobbles. So head that way and stop off at what used to be a pathway all the way around the island there. Now it comes to a dead end where the crocodile guards the way into the clearing. Just a bit of fun for when the children come. Now, several tree ferns along this side of the garden. It seems to suit them quite well here. Another one there. I think Bruce has arrived in our garden and become lord of them all. King of the garden tree ferns. And we call it the Cobbles for obvious reason. That little pile of cobbles there, I haven't turned it on actually, but there's a little fountain pops up, a little trickle of water keeps spurting up in there, and it's a nice gentle sound and goes nice in this area. Again, a fairly calm and cool area. I'll just turn around and show you into the next part of the Cobbles, which is right alongside it. As you step down into here, if I come back this way, you can probably get a better idea. And you can see down into there, and the stumpery at the end of there, not massive, but respectable enough size, and it's quite a feature in the winter when there's less growth on it and you can see all the stumps themselves, and I really love to see that in the winter time. And planting down here is looking pretty well at the moment. So I'll turn around, and this is what you see as you turn to come out of the Cobbles. There we go. Keep looking up and up as well as forwards. There's always something more to see. I do tend to cram everything in. Can't bear to see bare soil, really. It's not this time of year. That said, at the end of the year, and when it's time for clearing back a little bit, I do leave a lot of stuff actually over the winter. Not plants, but I mean not plants that need to be kept alive for winter, but the dieback. And I'll probably wait until in New Year to start removing that, to be honest. It gives some protection to the ground and some of the insects and things that want to stay there. Just another look round planting beneath Bruce. And I'm going to walk up this pathway heading towards the bottom garden. That lovely bamboo there, the sun on it in the evenings makes it a really rich colour, and I love it. And as you come up here, you can see, you have to excuse the hose pipes, it's that time of year when Roger is busy doing his cuttings at the bottom end of the garden, and that's the only way to get water down there. I'm going to come through this archway here. There's a nice big cyathea fern, enjoying the shade there. And here we head into a place that needs some more stepping stones by the look of it, but hey ho, it'll get done eventually. It's all that water we've had recently. And we're looking into the bottom garden, which past this point gradually becomes more open and exposed to the wind and things, so it tends to get rather more blown about down here, which last week some of this did get really smashed about. I wish that crocosmia was still in flower, it was glorious. But that's how it is in a garden. One thing finishes and something else is waiting in the wings to take its place. And then as you come into this garden, on the right, there's more areas you can take. This goes into pretty much a square gravel pathed area with 4 little raised beds in here. It's quite a different atmosphere in this garden to the first garden, but still with a nod to the exotics. Like this arbour here does feel quite jungly with this contorted willow over the top, I must admit. Somewhere else to sneak into. And you can look back on where I've just come from. It still looks into the exotics there. And trying to decide which way to go next. There's several pathways you can take here. I think I'll go along the bottom. I'll go along here. Another echium that I hope is going to perform well next year. I'm still quite amazed that, look, that's where it's rooted into. How it stayed there, I do not know, but watch this space and hopefully it will come up and flower next year. Along the bottom hedge, still plenty of colour. There's a pathway down the middle. I love it down here when it is windy, and later in the year especially. The grass is really, there's loads of movement here. It's wonderful. Lots of mingling of plants, all sorts. I'm just going round the outside of this gravelly square with the little raised beds. There's a view down another pathway back to the long exotic island, as I call it. And walk along here. I planted this willow screen along here to just detract the eye from the greenhouse being there, really. walking up to what we call our long hot border, and when I turn around here you can get the full view of that from the sunny side. We don't usually eat the figs off the tree, but visitors often do. By the time we notice they're there, they're usually drinkable. And then I'm going to turn around now to the bottom end of the garden, which is another lovely border, quite different again. Not so fully exotic, or exotic in a different way, but it's also very much a working area down here opposite this border, because there's another greenhouse there. There's the composting bays. As you can see, Roger's already been busy starting on his cuttings. He takes, well, I don't know if it's 1,000 or 2 cuttings every year to go in the garden, and also plants that we sell on our open days. Another greenhouse. And then stand back and look back at all the lovely tall, I do like tall things, and still getting this large exotic look to the place. You've got a glimpse of Roger there ducking out the way. So there, I'm going to leave you there. So that's in the few videos has been a tour of our garden. Thank you.